Hi, and welcome to this month's training. So this month we're going to do something a little different. I had planned on something else, but with all the stuff I have going on, I decided to change it up a little bit. So I want to show you how to use a work wreath on a grapevine wreath. So whenever you want to do ruffles on a grapevine wreath, this is a really great little trick to use. I picked out a long sign. So this sign is in my shop if you're looking for this. This is a smaller grapevine. Let's see, it is 18-inch grapevine and of course a 15-inch work wreath, which fits great. All right, this ribbon right here is from Hobby Lobby, and it is 913-6467. Of course, it's all on sale now. And you see, we have this mesh here. You can also find this, well, sometimes you can find it at Hobby Lobby. Otherwise, you can find it at Craft Outlet. It is just the turquoise colored. And you see how well it matches. Okay, I have some turquoise ornaments. This is Sam's ribbon. It's the black and off-white. Then I also have another Sam's ribbon that is the gray with the snowflakes. So you can see there's snowflakes in the background here. All right. This one is also from Hobby Lobby, and it is the turquoise with the glitter edge. Okay, and I think I might add in this red, black, and white, so it kind of matches his little scarf. I didn't want it to be too red because this is more of a burgundy, but we are going to use these in a nice big bow, and we're also going to use it as some tails in our ruffles. All right, so what we're going to do, and this is what makes it so different. Now you're going to need some serious bolt cutters because this can be a little difficult. But what I'm going to do is load my mesh on. Okay. I am going to figure out the best place to put the sign, and that's when I will determine how I will put this on. So when I'm figuring out that, what I do is I look for where it fits on best. So I just move it around. I think it actually fits there really well. So we're going to put this over here. So what I'll do to mark it is I will take one of my pipe cleaners. I will take one of my zip ties. I'm using black because I think it just kind of blends in a little bit better. You just want to run it through. I like to do this. So I will go ahead and put several in so that I can attach it. Okay, so just weave it through. And if you have one that is a little bit tight, if you just kind of pull it a little bit, you will be able to get it in. Just one of those little tricks that I learned. All right. There we go. So maybe one more here. Also, when you're working on grapevine wreaths, it's a great idea to have something like an ice pick or an awl, because if you have leaves in there, you can stick it in and kind of just break them up. You would want to do this over a trash can, but this is if you get one that has leaves in it, and sometimes that happens. So just keep that in mind. All right. So I am going to, let's see, how much do I want to have? So you don't have to do a complete half, or you can. I think I want to do right here. So I'm going to go ahead and pop off one of these so I will remember. Okay. All right. Can be a little bit challenging to cut these up. The top, of course, is a little bit more challenging. All right. So you may not be able to get it exactly even because of the way they put these ties on, and that's okay. And I'm going to keep the other half because I will use it. So about right here I think is good. I will use it on a different one. So if you need bolt cutters, these are good. They're inexpensive. They're Nipex. But you can get them at hardware stores. You can get them on Amazon. It's a really good thing to have around. Okay. So these are actually tied on there with little metal pieces. So you're not going to have a problem keeping this and using it later. So now we have it. All right, we already have our zip ties down. So we can just start tying off right here. Let me zoom in a little. There we go. So you see I'm just going to tie it down. I don't want to completely tie it until I have them all in. Okay. That way if I need to shift something because of where a tie is, I can do that. I think. Okay. Okay. And right here. Okay, so let's see. I want to make sure this is pretty even. Yeah. Alright, and then I'm going to tie these down nice and tight. So this saves you a ton of time putting ruffles on a grapevine wreath, because you're not going to have to try and get a whole bunch in there because the ties are on your form. You also don't have to use both levels. So if you only want to use the bottom, you would just come in and clip this off. And then you can use this one again for another project. Alright, so I'm going to put this aside for right now. And we're going to cut some ruffles. So I am going to do 20-inch ruffles. First, let's see. How many do we have? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. And I don't know if we'll use that top level or not. We just have to wait and see how it looks. Alright. I'm going to cut 20-inch ruffles. Okay. Let's do one more, then we're gonna put it on and decide if we want to cut the top off or use it. I think we probably will use it, but I just want to see first. Sometimes I like it and sometimes I do not. Alright, so you can also see that I used a color that was as close as I could get to the grapevine. You could also use the color of your mesh. So it really just depends on what you like. So I'm just going to flatten it out, put my fingers out like this, and use my fingers to help walk in the ruffle. Just like that, okay? Then I'm going to go and tie it down. Oh yeah, we're definitely using the top. So let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. We need 3 more. So let's go ahead and cut them. There we go. All right, now let's pull this back. All right. Now we can go ahead and attach our sign and then finish up this side. It kind of can make it a little bit easier. Let's see. I'm just going to use my paddle with my silver wire and just cut 4 pieces. Well, I may only use 3. We will see. Okay. So this already has holes in it, so I will run it through. I'm going to tie it in the back so that it's very little amount of wire that's showing from the front. So you can see there's very little showing. Just makes it a lot easier. Okay. Okay, here we go. Okay, and this inside one. I love to use signs like this on a grapevine because they really do fit on a grapevine very well. I can fit that one in. Let's do it. Okay. All right. There we go. Now, I'm just going to take this wire and I'm going to run it through my grapevine. And tie it on the other side. Okay. I'm not going to cut it off for right now. I'm just going to get it in here. Remember, if you have trouble, just kind of pull it apart with your hands. It should come right through, like that. Okay. Alright, let's do these two. And when we get done, we will deal with what's on the back. When you're buying grapevines, it's a good idea to look for ones that are not so tight, because if they're really, really tight, you're going to have trouble getting things through it. Now, you don't want them super loose, but you don't want them really tight either. Okay. All right, last one. Then we can get back to ruffles. There we go. Alright, so you can see from the back, this is where I tied them down. I'm just tying it off right now. And what we're going to do is we're going to come back and we're going to trim this off, and we're going to put a little leaf right there and cover that up. Okay? So you see our sign's on there good. Our form is on there. Alright, well, let's continue. Okay. So just keep ruffling right up through the center. Alright. Oh, I should have opened my ties. We'll do that. Alright. So I'm going to open up my ties on the bottom here. Alright. Okay. Just keep ruffling up, just like that. Make sure you pull them out against the one before it. Okay, here's the last one. Alright, now we're going to move on to the top. I like this because it is a different look than what you normally see on grapevines. And I really kind of like that. We may end up moving it. We'll see. But I want you to see how it can be very different just depending on where you add that sign. And just remember, there are no rules in wreath making, so you have to do it the way that you like it. All right. So you see how cute that is? All right, now let's just pop this off. Actually, we can use this one. And I'll just pull those wires out. Actually, I can just undo it, and then we can just use the wires that are on there. Of course, because that makes more sense. There we go. So you see, sometimes when you're doing something, you will change your mind in the middle and decide to go a different way. And that is okay. And you have to realize that you need to be flexible enough to do that, even if you're on a live. So, all right. So I've got my sign. I'm going to put my sign right up here. But before we do that, no, we can go ahead and do that. Let's just go ahead and do that. So I have my wires already. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to go down to the frame. And I don't want to tie it real tight because I don't want to smash it. There we go. All right. And then I will kind of pull things back out. So I'm just trying to go in between my ruffles so that I can tie it down and then kind of just cover it back up after I tie it. Okay. Alright, then I will move my ruffles back, make sure all of my ribbons are pulled out. Okay, like this. Alright, make sure my sign's on there. It is. Alright, now, there we go. I'm just kind of turning it in these little pieces so that you can't see them. Alright, now, we're going to make a bow. Alright, so we're going to pull this and put it away. And we're going to, let's do the Pro Bow. We haven't done that in a little while. Alright, so the difference between the Pro Bow and the Easy Bow is that the Easy Bow builds it from the bottom up. The Pro Bow builds it from the top up, okay? Now you can do this on either one that you feel comfortable with. I'm not going to use the middle peg. I think, let's see. I want to end with this one. So this will be the last one I do. So I can put it right there. Let's see. I want to, I'm going to flip this over because I want to use this side. Alright. I want to see how big I want to make my loops. I think we're going to go with D. Okay, This is going to be the very top. Alright. So for this one, okay, for this one I'm going to use, so this is called a paddle. When you see ribbon that is put on a little piece like this, it's called a paddle. So if you ever hear someone say, I used my paddle of ribbon, that's what they're talking about. Alright. So I like to use a little bit thicker when I'm doing something like the Pro Bow. So I'll cut about 24 inches. I'm not going to need that much, but I'm going to cut that anyways. I like to make sure I have plenty. I want to cut 2. Okay. The first wire you're going to use to load your ribbon on. So let's see, how long do we want our tails to be? I think we'll just go to the end of the board. Okay, so the most important thing to remember about this is the top, so you want the pretty side to be up here. So you just take your first wire, you go right in the center, and you're just going to twist it on one good time, okay? Then you're going to take it to your board, to this main finger, and you're going to go counterclockwise. Very important. Got to go counterclockwise. You're just loading it onto the board. You take the bottom piece, you go around the little nail outside the bottom, and you want to move it out of your way because you don't want it to get confused when you start loading your second wire. Alright, so then you're going to go around this first piece right here. Now you can go ahead and add in your helping hand wire now, or you can wait. I'm going to wait. So when you get here, you want to pinch it up very nicely. Move this out of the way. Take your time with it. Don't be in a rush. Alright, so I'm going to go around the second one, just like that. So I'm only going to do 1 with this. So I'll pinch it, bring it out to the side. I'm going to trim it off. Okay, then I'm going to move that out of the way. Alright, now I'm going to take that second wire, okay, I'm going to place it behind my loops, and I'm going to shimmy it in front so that the wire is in between my ribbon and this finger. Alright, so what this is doing is it is tying your first bow together, and it's holding it on the bow maker so that you don't have to touch it. You don't have to keep putting your finger here. You want to keep one up and one down, and that is just so you can find it and tie the next bow on. Okay, so we're done with this one. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4. Right, 1, 2, 3, 4. Right? We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 pegs. Alright? So one, we can do 2 colors. Alright? So we're going to pinch it. Remember, we went out to the end. I'm going to load it on with that helping hand. Okay, so just 1 up, 1 down. Alright, go around that first one, come back to the center. Remember, pinch it nice, put that ribbon up, okay, twist, go around, okay, pinch, twist. Let's see. I think we'll do 2 of this one. So I'm going to go around again, pinch, twist, Okay, around the next one. Pinch it, twist it out to the end, trim it off. I'm going to put that up there. Now we take our little helping hand and we just twist it one good time. And I like to do this in between every single bow because I need to make sure that it is going to stay on there. Okay? Done with this one. Alright. Alright, now I'm going to do this one. And I think what we're going to do, alright, this is what we're going to do. Alright, so I'm going to pinch it. I'm going to put it on here. Remember, I'm doing this one upside down. So I want to make sure this gray side is going up around. Okay. I'm going to pinch, twist, go around this one. We're going to do something a little different. Pinch, twist, around this one. Pinch, twist, and around this one. So we're going to do 2 of these. Alright. Because I want to get some of that red in here. Alright. Now I'm going to use my helping hand and tie this one down. So you want one good twist to tie it up. Alright. We're done with that one. Okay. So we're going to do something a little different. I want this one to be my last one. So I'm actually going to put these 2 together, just like this, and I'm going to put them on together. Alright, so I'm going to pinch it together, just like it's one ribbon, and I am going to tie it on nice and tight. My little piece came out. Alright, and I'm going to move it as one piece. Alright, come around to the center, pinch it as one piece. Okay, let's see if I can move this around a little bit. Twist. Okay, keep them together. Come around the second piece. Okay, pinch. Twist. Pull it out. Now I'm going to go ahead and tie it on with my little helping hand. So one good tie. Alright, and then I can trim these 2 pieces off. There we go. So we're done with all the ribbon. So now what you do is you take this piece from the bottom and you take this from the top and you start unwiring the top. You just have to find the beginning. So I've got this one out. So what I like to do is take the 2 at the bottom, put them together, the 2 at the top, put them together, and then pull this really tight. Okay, just one time, because when I get it off of this, I'm going to tighten it again. Alright? So we're done with this part. Turn this on. Alright, we're going to get out the fluff box. Fluff box has a hook in the middle and a nail at the end. Now when I get mine out, what I like to do is I like to kind of push down on it and really make sure I have that wire as tight as I can get it. Okay? Alright. Now, I'll just slide it under that hook and tie it on. Now what we're going to do is we're going to cut all these with the dovetail. So just fold them over, cut at an angle. Cut away from yourself. Okay. You can go ahead and move your tails around. Okay. So I just like to do this part so I don't forget later. Okay. And I want to make sure all of my tails are not going in the exact same direction. That can really mess up your bow looking funky. So okay, I think I got them all. So let's put this one over there. So I just want to make sure they're in opposite directions. See, I have them all separated out. Now, when you're doing a bow, it's best if you go from the bottom, okay? So pull them out. Pull these out in opposite directions, just like that. Okay? And then pull these out. Those out. Those out. And that. And then you just want to fluff it up. So just stick your hand in there and fluff it up. And you can move it around. Just move it around so that you don't have big spots where there's no bow. Okay? Okay. There we go. All right. Now we got it nice and fluffed. Alright, so once you have it fluffed, just pull it back off, slip it out of there. I can move this off. Alright, then I'm going to pull this back. So now you can see we have a bow that's going to take over. You know what I think we're going to do? Alright. So I really want this bow to be a little bit higher. Okay? So I am going to take 4-inch. Well, let's see. What is the longest loop? Alright, the longest loop is about 6 inches. Alright. Okay. So, if you want to add height to your bow, what you do is you take a 4-inch ribbon and you make some loops with it. Alright? So I'm just going to pinch it, put it in the center, and then I'm going to do an 8-inch loop, just like that. There we go. Alright. Another one. Another 8-inch loop. Okay. We're going to do one more. So you can, with the easy bow, you can just kind of move it until you see it's the right length. Okay. There we go. All right, now I'm just going to trim this off. Okay. The great thing about the 4-inch, you don't need a ton of it, but what it does is it will pump up your bow big time. So I'm going to go ahead and dovetail the ends here. So it's a good idea to have 4-inch, but you don't need a bunch. You just need a few in some basic colors. So what I'm going to do is take this bow right here. All right, I'm going to pull this out, trying to keep it together. All right, like that. I'm going to go ahead and put a little zip tie on it, because what I don't want is for it to come loose while I'm getting it loaded onto this bow. All right, so I'm just going to take my 2 wires and I'm going to separate them out. Whoop, make it a little twisted. And I'm going to lay it on top of this one. And then I'm going to tie it in. Okay. Once I have it in, tied in nice and tight, and I can put it back on the wreath. All right. So I want you to see the difference it makes. Okay, so we just take our 2 ends again. All right. Go to our base. Okay, load it down. Okay, now watch this. When you fluff up these, it pulls your bow into a whole nother level. So you can see what it does is it puffs your bow up so that it is now more level with our piece over here. Yeah. And all you have to do is just put like 3 or 4 at the bottom. All right. And it just helps pop up your bow. All right, now we can take some little ornaments. Okay, I want to put one in the center of my bow. So I'm just going to run some glue right around the outside. I go ahead and take this little piece off, because if you glue onto that and then it comes loose, you kind of lose it from your wreath, so it's not really very helpful. All right. But I love to use these to kind of start covering up some of the ties. Okay. So you just kind of glue it right onto the tie. All right. And you get these from Hobby Lobby, and they're half off right now. So I would suggest you get it in a bunch of different colors, or wait until they are just about to put them on clearance. But don't wait too long, because if you do, there won't be any good colors left. But get it in a lot of different colors, because you can use these all year round. They don't have to just be for Christmas, especially with colors like this. Okay. And these are shatterproof. So, and they're perfect. They're perfect for Easter. I mean, you can get them in pretty much every color you would like. So, purple, pink, gold, silver. So I go and I buy them as soon as they start going on sale. I go buy them and I get a bunch because they're perfect for little projects like this. You see how they just kind of mask where we put our ties, or where our ties are. And it just looks nice. Adds a little bit more color. And so this whole thing right here was $5. And I've already used it. This is, I think, my second project I've used it on. So it is well worth it. Alright, we're going to put one more right here. We'll use the shiny one. You can also trim off. Whoop, wrong one. You can also trim these off if you don't want to have to cover as much. So, just like that. And then put, fold it over, and then put, need a glue stick. Ooh, hey, this is a great time to show you this. When you're putting a new glue stick in, you know how you usually have to push it down? If you will put just a tiny little piece of glue on it, put it in, push it right up against that piece and let it sit there for a second, then you have an easier time of go ahead and gluing it. Alright? There we go. If you see it's having trouble, just put a little glue and then push it in. Should do just fine. Okay. See, this one's a little off, so I'll unglue this side, make sure it doesn't look funky. The rest are fine. Alright, that's it. So see, that is a different kind of project. See, really, it's almost hard to tell it's a grapevine. So then in the back, what you're going to do is you're just going to put some antique wire or a pipe cleaner and just make a little hook. Okay? Whoop, one fell off. Which one fell off? Oh, the top. I probably didn't leave it on there long enough. Okay. Don't worry though, once they get glued, they stay on. Okay. Alright. And that's it. Alright, I hope you enjoyed this. Alright. So you have to let me know what you thought. Okay, and make sure you post some pictures of ones that you do that are close to this, okay? And remember, you don't have to use exactly what I use. You just use the method, and you do it with whichever colors you like. So it doesn't have to be this. All right, in the back, where we tied on our bow, you just take some leaves and you just glue it right over top of it, and it covers right where you had your wire. So make sure it's on there nice and good. Trim it off. Okay. And then just run some glue along it. And put your leaf down. Just like that. So you want to hold it for a minute, make sure it's gluing down. And don't burn your fingers, because that stinks. Okay. And so what this does is this protects the door, makes sure it's not going to get scratched by that wire, and of course it makes it look prettier. Alright? Okay, well I will see you pretty soon. I hope you liked this project. Bye-bye.